Chosen one, I require you to halt all activities and focus on the information I am about to convey, as I will be sending someone to your home within the next 24 hours. Not metaphorically or symbolically, but physically and literally. When someone enters your life, everything changes. And if you disregard this message right now, as if it were just another video, you will be unprepared for the encounter that I have already planned. As a result, refrain from moving, skipping, or allowing your mind to wander, as the information I am about to reveal requires your complete attention. I have now assigned someone to locate you. They're not yet aware of it. They believe it is their concept. They believe it is merely a coincidence. They believe the timing is arbitrary. However, I've been organizing this meeting for several months. The moment has finally arrived. Within the next 24 hours, the intersection of your path and their path will have a significant impact on your life. And you must be ready. It is critical that you comprehend the situation. You must understand the significance of this encounter and why I have been preparing you for it through the events you have recently witnessed. I will inform you of this person's identity. They are not someone from your past who is attempting to resurface. They are not an old relationship trying to resurrect itself. They are not someone you already know who has suddenly recognized your worth. This person is new. Someone for whom I have been preparing in a completely different location, under entirely different conditions, and with entirely different lessons. However, those lessons and your lessons were designed to coincide at this exact moment. Because the combination of your current possessions and theirs creates a new entity that neither of you could have created independently. In addition, both of you must be capable of carrying out my next steps. Allow me to clarify before you start picturing this person's identity, or making up a story about the nature of this encounter. I'm not necessarily sending this person to initiate a romantic relationship. It might be, but it could also be a business partner. It's possible that it's the mentor. It could be someone who has a specific piece of information you need. It could be a person who unlocks a door you were previously unaware of. An individual who says a single sentence could be the key to unlocking a decade of confusion. The problem isn't the type of relationship. The point is that this person has an item that I've designated for your use. In addition, you are responsible for transporting an item that I have designated for them. And when you two meet, that exchange occurs. Both of your lives accelerate in ways you could not have predicted. If you are feeling a stirring in your spirit or something within you has recently become more alert, type, "I am prepared" in the comments section. This declaration creates an opening in the spiritual realm for the message I am attempting to convey to you, not because the words themselves are magical. Your consent is critical. Your preparedness is critical. Your willingness to accept is significant. So if you're sincere, please type it now. I am prepared. I'd now like to inform you of how I've been preparing you for this encounter without your knowledge. It was a process of making room for each relationship that came to an end. Distractions were eliminated as each door closed. Each disappointment you faced provided an opportunity to adjust your expectations in order to recognize the genuine article when it arrived. Each moment of isolation you experienced fueled a desire for genuine connection rather than accepting the status quo. Each time you felt the urge to give up but persisted, you were building the endurance you'll need for the events that come after this meeting. Because this encounter is not the final destination. This encounter marks the beginning. You've been feeling restless recently, and it's not just you. It's as if you're supposed to be somewhere but aren't sure where. It's as if you're supposed to meet someone but are unaware of their identity. As if something is about to change, but you can't tell what. Anxiety is not the cause of restlessness. That's anticipation. Your spirit can perceive things that your mind cannot. Someone is approaching, and your soul is aware of it. They are approaching, and you can feel it, despite your inability to explain how you know. This is because the meeting has already taken place in the spiritual realm. It is now becoming tangible. Your spirit is preparing your body, mind, and emotions to handle the impact of this encounter. I require your understanding of divine appointments. I never send people to your door at random. It is never just a coincidence. It is never a case of luck. All variables have been computed. Every detail has been precisely timed. I've strategically positioned each individual, circumstance, and seemingly unrelated event to create the precise conditions for this meeting to take place. In addition, I have individually prepared each of you to ensure that you are ready to accept and manage the gift you are receiving when you meet. Because if I dispatch someone to you before you are ready, you will either ignore them or mishandle the gift they bring. I have spent an inordinate amount of time and effort on your preparation, and I cannot allow that to happen. As a result, I would like to inform you of the steps I have taken to prepare you for this individual. I have been honing your discernment so that you can recognize them when they appear. Because they may not appear exactly as expected. They may not sound like what you prayed for. It's possible that the package you had in mind did not include them. However, your spiritual sensitivity and discernment will act as a warning. When they enter your space, you will feel a change. You will notice a distinguishing feature in this individual. You will recognize that this is not a chance encounter, even if you are unaware of how you arrived at this conclusion. Have faith in the emotion. Stick to that understanding. San, do not let logic, fear, or past disappointment keep you from acknowledging the message I am sending. In addition, I have been improving your abilities. Because this individual's contributions and the opportunities presented by this encounter extend beyond the scope of your current existence. As a result, I felt compelled to provide you with additional information. You were required to stretch. I felt compelled to push you beyond your comfort zone in order to make space for the upcoming events. You weren't breaking. You were expanding during those moments when you felt overwhelmed and wondered if you could take it anymore. And now you can receive the information I'm about to provide. You now have the fortitude to protect this individual's possessions. You're now prepared. I also have been purifying your intentions. Since I require assurance that you will not attempt to exploit, manipulate, or control this individual in order to meet your needs when they arrive. I need confirmation that you are capable of accepting the gift I am offering without tainting it with your personal agenda. As a result, I eliminated your desperation. I relieved your dependence. I taught you how to be whole independently in order to foster a healthy relationship. And now you're ready to accept this person as a gift, rather than trying to use them to solve your problems. If this message confirms a feeling you have been experiencing but have been unable to articulate, please click the like button right away. As a result of your participation, this message can reach other carefully chosen individuals who are also within their 24-hour window, have an approaching individual, and need to understand the situation in order to avoid missing their divine appointment. Your admiration isn't just for your benefit. It's intended for them. I'll now describe what happens when this person arrives. The meeting may appear to be routine. It's possible the conversation will be brief. It may be a casual introduction. It could happen in a location you frequent on a daily basis. It's possible that it will last 5 minutes. However, during those 5 minutes, an exchange takes place that will take months or years to fully unpack. a shift in perspective will occur. The door will squeak open. One possibility will emerge. The truth will be revealed. You may not understand the significance right away. You may have seen it as a pleasant exchange. You may have seen it as an intriguing example of timing. You may have seen it as a pleasant exchange. However, you will continue to consider their words in the days and weeks that follow. Something about that encounter will keep you coming back. You will continue to see how that single conversation unlocks new aspects of your life. That is how you will be able to recognize me. This will allow you to recognize that this was a divine appointment rather than a coincidence. The effect will be disproportional to the interaction. The results will outweigh the exchange. The transformation will be deeper than the dialogue. Upon reflection, you will notice that your life has a distinct beginning and end, prior to the arrival of the individual. After that, someone arrived. Currently, everything has changed. However, I must caution you about the following. When the enemy arrives, they will try to distract you from this individual. He wants to divert your attention. He intends to distract your attention by keeping you preoccupied. He will try to disrupt the schedule in order to prevent your attendance. He will try to persuade you to question your emotions in order to get you to ignore the encounter. He'll whisper that it's too good to be true, that you are putting too much emphasis on the situation, that you are gullible, desperate, or foolish. And if you listen to those voices, if you let doubt replace discernment, you will pass by the person I sent, never realizing the opportunity you missed. As a result, the task listed below must be completed within the next 24 hours. Maintain your awareness. Remember to be vigilant. Keep an open mind. Avoid using autopilot. Don't let routine dull your awareness. Don't let cynicism close your heart. Pay close attention to every exchange. Pay attention to everyone who crosses your path. Enjoy the vitality of each conversation. Due to the possibility that the person I am sending will not make an announcement. It's possible that they don't wear a sign around their neck that says "Divine Appointment." They could just be someone who says something that makes you stop and think. A person who appears in an unexpected setting. Someone who unexpectedly asks a question. A person who offers assistance without your request. Someone who sees a quality in you that others often overlook. That's your indication. It is critical to be aware when someone perceives you in a way that differs from how most people normally perceive you. Pay attention to the words of someone who addresses a side of your personality that you haven't previously revealed to anyone. Be alert when someone appears at the exact moment you have just prayed about or requested my assistance with a specific issue. Please be cautious. I communicate through others. I travel with people. I respond through individuals. I am sending someone to your door with a response to your inquiry. Please make sure you don't miss them because you're distracted. I will now inform you of the events that will follow this encounter. The meeting is just the beginning. The following events will include the opening of a series of doors. Each one came after the other. This person is not simply delivering a single item to you. This person is indispensable. And when you receive the items they carry and recognize the actions I am performing, that key will simultaneously unlock multiple doors. Opportunities for which you previously gave up hope will resurface. D. The resources you need will be delivered. The clarity you've been looking for is about to be downloaded. Relationships that were previously stagnant will transform. Situations that were previously inaccessible will eventually become available. This was all due to your being in the right place at the right time to meet the appropriate person who was carrying the appropriate item at the right moment. This was not an accident. Orchestration is the term used to describe this. This is me analyzing each variable in your life to create the conditions for a breakthrough. The catalyst is someone who appears within the next 24 hours. They are the catalyst. They act as the catalyst for all subsequent events. Do not underestimate the magnitude of the situation when they arrive. Don't disregard it. Do not dismiss it as the result of chance, luck, or coincidental timing. Recognize its nature. Divine intervention. Heavenly coordination. My influence on your life is palpable, undeniable, and powerful. If you want to ensure that you don't miss this person when they appear, that your spiritual antennas are fully activated, that your discernment is sharp, and that your heart is open, please enter, "I receive this now," in the comments. That declaration has spiritual consequences. It shows that you're prepared. It confirms your readiness. It creates an opportunity for me to deliver my message. As a result, this is what I am currently receiving. In addition, I will tell you about the emotions that this person will feel when they encounter you. Despite the fact that this is your first meeting, they will feel a sense of familiarity, as if they have known you for a long time. You are a stranger, but there is something familiar about you. Despite the fact that you have only recently started a conversation, this one is more important than most others. They will have an urge to reveal information to you. They typically avoid disclosing information to people they have just met. They will feel a sense of security in your presence that is beyond logic. They are likely to think about the conversation, questioning the reason for your influence and the significance of the event, even if they are unable to express it. This is because the connection is not completely natural. The nature of this connection is supernatural. I created the design myself. I ordained it. I designated it. And when two people I've assigned to each other finally meet, there's always a sense of the sacred, a sense that something bigger is happening, and a realization that this isn't a coincidence. It is possible that they do not know the necessary language. Some, although they may not fully comprehend it, they will experience it, as will you. Now, this is a concept that most people do not understand about divine appointments. The individual I send to your house is not intended to meet your requirements. They're not coming to fix you. They're not on their way to rescue you. They are here to form a partnership with you, pool their resources, and build a project that neither of you could complete alone. As a result, refrain from approaching this interaction from a place of scarcity. Avoid approaching it with urgency. Do not approach it with the expectation that this person will solve all of your problems. Approach it from a point of completeness. Approach it with confidence. Approach it knowing that you are completely satisfied with me. And this individual is a supplement to what is already complete, rather than a replacement for what is lacking. When divine appointments are approached from this perspective and understanding, a significant event occurs. You are aware of what you are receiving. You handle it appropriately. You create something sustainable because you are not clinging to this person in the hope that they will fill your emptiness. You're strategically collaborating with this person, confident that you can complete the task I've assigned to both of you. This is the difference between a codependent disaster and a healthy divine connection. I've been preparing you to recognize the distinction. I will give you information about the timing. Why at this time? What's the reason for the next 24 hours? Why not the previous year or next month? Because this is the moment when you are finally ready. At this time, all preparations have been completed. This is the point at which your character aligns with your calling. Now is the time for you to match the capacity that I am about to offer you. I could have dispatched this individual sooner, but you were unprepared. You would have ignored, misapplied, or misinterpreted them. I delayed your arrival not as punishment, but to prepare you. Finally, you're prepared. I am currently in the process of sending them, and the following is a summary of the other events that occurred within the past 24 hours. I'm not just preparing you for them. I'm in the process of preparing them for you. They are currently completing their own preparation. They are having their own realizations. They are getting their own instructions. They are experiencing their own restlessness. They understand that they are expected to travel, interact with others, or participate in an activity. They are in the process of relocating, but they do not have all the necessary information. They're currently being positioned. They are being directed straight to you. When they arrive, they will have exactly what you need at precisely the right time. This is how I operate. This is how I move. This is my method of delivery. I don't distribute solutions at random. I send them in a strategic way. I do not accidentally connect people. I purposefully make a connection between them. It is not by accident that I organize meetings. I organize them precisely. And the events of the next 24 hours will prove that I am genuine, active, and personally invested in every aspect of your life. I must now give you some practical instructions for the next 24 hours before we can conclude. First, make your schedule as clear as possible. I understand that you have responsibilities. I understand that you have obligations. But try to create some margin, space, and openness. Why? Because I need your availability. I require your availability. I need your availability to respond quickly when an opportunity arises. If you are rushed, stressed, or overbooked, you may miss the window. Therefore, allocate space. Clear the clutter. Make space for the item I'm sending. The second step is to listen closely to your intuition. Although you may feel compelled to visit a specific location, you usually avoid doing so. Proceed to that location. If you feel compelled to contact someone with whom you have not communicated in some time, do so. If you feel compelled to pursue a different path, do so. I communicate using your intuition. I provide guidance based on your intuitive understanding. I will give you specific instructions within this 24-hour period. As a result, refrain from superseding those indications with logic. Do not dismiss these as mere musings. Stick to their instructions. Have faith in them. Allow them to lead you to your destination. Third, avoid operating on automatic pilot. Do not sleepwalk for the next 24 hours. Keep your attention. Refrain from performing the actions. Be present. Be aware. Maintain an active presence. Turn your gaze to others. Pay attention to what they're saying. Take note of the specifics. The energy is palpable. Because the person I am sending could appear in the most mundane situation, the extraordinary nature of the situation may be overlooked if one is not paying attention. Fourth, set aside your expectations about the nature of this interaction. Don't imagine a script that this person must follow. Do not dictate the appearance, sound, or language they should use. Keep an open mind. Maintain adaptability. Continue to be open. I can assure you that the item I send will exceed your expectations. However, it may not appear as expected. Thus, do not dismiss your blessing because of its unexpected packaging. Fifth, be authentic. Refrain from performing. Refrain from acting. Do not try to impress. Be yourself in a genuine, honest, and vulnerable way. I'm sending this person to connect with your authentic self, not the self you think you should be. And if you arrive disguised, they will be unable to identify the object I asked them to find. Allow yourself to be observed. Allow yourself to be authentic. Let yourself be human. This is when divine connections happen. At this point, genuine relationships are formed. Oinksa. That is the point at which the project I am attempting to build can be realized. Do not simply listen and leave if this entire message has prepared you for an event you were not expecting, if clarity has just been downloaded regarding the reason for the intense last few months, or if you can feel anticipation building in your spirit for the next 24 hours. Participate. To ensure that you do not miss any future updates, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. As a result of this person's arrival and subsequent interaction, you will need additional assistance. Confirmation of the authenticity of your experience will be required. Sure, you will need assistance in understanding the contents of the package you received. That is why this channel exists. Additionally, forward this message to someone you believe is also in their divine appointment window. Someone who has been feeling restless. A person who has a strong feeling that something is about to happen. An individual who needs confirmation that their feelings are not indicative of anxiety. Anticipation is the term. Your sharing may be the catalyst that allows them to recognize their chosen one when they arrive. I will send someone to your home within the next 24 hours. Prepare yourself. Be present. Be forthcoming. Please make sure you don't overlook them. Avoid dismissing them. Do not question your emotions when they arrive. This gift is meant for you. This is the provision I made for you. This is how I respond to my prayers. You prayed, and you have not even prayed yet. Please receive them with care. Please use this connection with caution. Create the item that I am requesting. Also, notice the complete transformation of your life. Because you were in the appropriate location at the appropriate time to encounter the appropriate individual. Carrying the appropriate item at the right time. Your divine appointment is set. The countdown has started. Be prepared. But before I let you go into the next 24 hours, there's something else you should know. While you have been reading this message, things have been shifting in dimensions you cannot see. Angels have been dispatched. Obstacles have been removed. Paths have been cleared. And the person I am sending to you, they are being moved into position right now. Let me tell you what is happening on their end. They might be feeling restless without knowing why. They might be sensing they need to go somewhere but cannot explain the pull. They might be experiencing what feels like random promptings, sudden ideas, or strange coincidences that are all actually me orchestrating their steps toward you. They do not know your name yet. They do not know your face yet. But their spirit is being prepared to recognize you. This is how divine appointments work. I prepare both people simultaneously but separately. I work in both lives independently but toward the same convergence point. And when that convergence happens, it is like two pieces of a puzzle clicking into place. It just fits. It just works. Even if neither person can explain why. That sense of rightness, that is me confirming you are exactly on track. Now, let me tell you what this person is carrying. First, information you need but do not have. This might be knowledge about an opportunity to insight into a situation you have been trying to figure out. Or a perspective that shifts how you see something you have been stuck on. Second, a connection you need but cannot access on your own. This person knows someone you need to meet, or they have access to a space you need to enter. Third, confirmation you need but have been doubting. They are going to validate what I already told you. Echo what I have been speaking in your private moments. These three things, information, connection, confirmation, they are what this person is carrying. And all three are coming to you within the next 24 hours. Be ready to receive. Now let me address the resistance some of you are feeling. You are thinking this sounds too good to be true. You are protecting your heart because you have been disappointed before. You are skeptical because you have seen false promises. And I understand. But that guardedness is going to block what I am trying to give you if you do not release it. The reason you have been disappointed before is not because you hoped too much. It is because you hoped for the wrong things. You hoped for people who were never assigned to you. But this is different. This person I am sending is not a random connection you are forcing. They are a divine assignment I am orchestrating. So release the fear. Release the skepticism. Just for these next 24 hours, lower your guard. Open your heart. Let yourself hope. Let yourself believe. What I am about to give you is not going to hurt you. What I am about to give you is going to heal you. If you are willing to release the guardedness and stay open to receive, type "Yes, God" in the comments. That declaration creates an opening, signals readiness, removes resistance. Now let me tell you about the ripple effect this encounter is going to create. This person is the first domino. And when they fall, they are going to knock over other dominoes you did not even know were lined up. One connection leads to another. One opportunity opens the door to another. One confirmation gives courage for another step. This is why timing matters. Everything that follows is time sensitive. Other blessings are ready to release. But they cannot release until this catalyst activates them. So when they show up, honor the moment. Do not rush through it. Do not multitask. Give it your full presence, your full attention. Because you are not just having a conversation with a person. You are participating in a divine moment that is going to ripple through the rest of your life. Let me also tell you what is going to happen emotionally. First, you might feel nervous. Your heart might race. This is not anxiety. This is your spirit recognizing the weight of the moment. Second, you might feel emotional. Tears rising that you cannot explain. This is your spirit releasing years of waiting. Let yourself feel it. Third, you might feel overwhelmed. That is okay. You do not have to have it all figured out. Simply be present. And fourth, you might feel relief. Deep soul-level relief. That relief is confirmation that you just received exactly what you needed, exactly when you needed it. Finally, document what happens. Write it down. In the moment, it might seem ordinary. But later, when you see how that one encounter changed everything, you are going to want to remember the details. So capture it. Preserve it. Not for social media, for yourself. So you never forget the day I sent someone to your door and everything changed. Chosen one, your 24-hour window has begun. From the moment you finish reading this message, the clock is ticking. Someone is moving toward you. Something is about to shift. Everything is about to change. Stay ready, stay present, stay open. This is a divine appointment. This is your appointed time. This gift is meant for you. Do not miss it. Your breakthrough is walking through your door within 24 hours. Receive it well. God is now communicating with us. This is not a coincidence, and it is not noise. It is a divine moment, enveloped in clarity. He no longer whispers. He is speaking aloud. May we proceed immediately rather than later, not when everything seems to be in order and secure tomorrow. The shift begins at that point. Furthermore, this is not a case of pursuing a particular date on a calendar. The focus is on identifying a spiritual window. God is opening a door for you. You have been in a state of anticipation, crying in the dark, wondering when. You battled silently. You've wondered if your prayers have reached the sky. Heaven, on the other hand, was aware of every word and tear. The response is currently en route, not as a hypothesis, not a viable alternative, as a pledge that is currently in process. Isaiah chapter 60 verse 22 says, "I, the Lord, will execute it at the appropriate time." And guess what? The moment has arrived and the delay has been resolved. The silence has been lifted. This is the signal to prepare both your suitcase and your soul. Reduce the amount of clutter and simplify your workload. Create space, as the future will not accommodate the current version of your life. No, you will not comprehend the entirety of it. You are not required by God to do so. He is not distributing blueprints. He is extending an invitation to you. And when he says, "Let's go," it is not a suggestion. It is a significant advancement in the field of motion. You were selected for this occasion, and you are aware of it in your core. If you experience a sensation in your chest, it is a sign that your spirit is confirming your decision. Therefore, refrain from scrolling past. Please remain with me. We are about to engage in a joint prayer session regarding this subsequent phase. Additionally, there will be a change. Now, if you are prepared to step into your purpose with faith rather than fear, please enter Amen in the comments. Allow the heavens to witness your concurrence. Your dedication should be heard by the devil. And allow your heart to experience the impact of accepting the call. It is not too late for you. God declared that you are punctual. We should proceed. Additionally, you will be accompanying him this time. A sacred event is taking place. Not in the distant future. Tomorrow is not in a distant season. However, this is not any ordinary tomorrow. This is a divine appointment that was incorporated into your narrative prior to the inception of time, prior to your conception in the womb, prior to your initial breath. This hour was permanently inscribed in the plan of God. It may not be visible to you. However, heaven has already intervened on your behalf. Ancient design has finally arrived at your doorstep despite the fact that it appears to be a sudden change. Consider Esther. She was not raised in a palace. She was assigned to one for a specific reason. Maury seized the opportunity without hesitation. "Who knows?" he responded. However, you have attained royal status just for this moment. Esther, chapter 4, verse 14. That is the gravity and awe of the present situation. This is your opportunity. Not just a new day. Nonetheless, a change in fate. You've crossed deserts of uncertainty. You've whispered prayers into the darkness of night. I'm wondering if God is still watching over you. And he does. The silence was caused by something other than absence. It was an act of preparation, He's been building the road that runs beneath your feet, as you have remained stationary. It is time for a change, and not just in the physical sense. However, spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically. This is not a matter of relocation. It entails advancing to a higher level position, a more profound alignment. A life that finally reflects the assurances whispered to you by God, when nobody else was present. However, readiness is required for movement. Don't pretend you're in your bedroom. A suitcase has been opened. What items are you bringing with you? Not in clothing. Nonetheless, courage. Not footwear. However, you have gained wisdom from each fire you have crossed. Pack your faith, your fortitude, your recommendation from the early hours of the morning. However, it is equally important. Recognize what needs to be abandoned. It was embarrassing. Self-doubt. The voices that spoke. You're insufficient. Similar to the Israelites, who was forced to abandon Egypt, even in terms of thinking. You are unable to break free from your past, into the liberation of your future. God isn't the only one calling you out. He's contacting you. Isaiah chapter 43 verses 18 to 19 states, "Disregard the past. Refrain from dwelling on the past. Note that I am attempting a novel approach. It is now appearing." Is this not clear to you? A new phenomenon is emerging right beneath your feet. This is the act of spiritual relocation. You are not being transported to an unknown environment. You are being inserted into a pre-planned environment, like Ruth, entering the field. Boaz was not aware that it belonged to him. You are rapidly gaining popularity as a result of your obedience. You didn't overlook it. You are not late. You are punctual. So, what actions do you take during this countdown? You remain vigilant. Maintain your modesty. Maintain an uncluttered spirit, in order to ensure that the instructions are heard. The countdown is not a pause. It's a fee. Every second is filled with purpose. This is the moment of silence before the curtain rises. The period of silence that precedes the resurrection. When Jesus instructed Lazarus to rise, the stone was already rolled away. The command was not accompanied by any explanation. It was outfitted with electricity. Furthermore, God addresses your life at this time. It will be unnecessary to inquire. The goal will be to reawaken. Therefore, don't underestimate the silence. It is the final inhalation before release. Refrain from resisting the urge to reduce your luggage. The future will require space for expansion. There is plenty of room to breathe, and a heart free of the burdens of the past. What is to come is not merely a new day. This is a unique approach to life. Also, tomorrow. The rest of your life begins tomorrow. Whatever your level of awareness, you are in the present moment. You find yourself in a sacred space in between, a location where the antiquated has started to fade. However, the new has not yet been completely implemented. It is similar to watching the tide change. Recognizing that something significant is happening beneath the surface, despite the fact that the shoreline has not yet changed, in a spiritual sense. Emotionally, mentally, you are traversing two dimensions. The life you have lived, the person who is affected by suffering, postponement, and the shackles of misunderstanding are gradually being removed. However, this is the life you were always meant to have. God created this one with a deliberate intent. Recovery, also favor, is already beginning to appear on the horizon. No, it is not a void. This represents a spiritual threshold, a sacred tension, a divine cocoon, where transformation takes place without being observed. And while this moment may be perplexing for some, it's as if you're suspended between the past and the future. It is the exact location where God performs his most mysterious and miraculous feats. It's where he prepares you for more than just the start of a new season. However, the goal is to grow into someone who can embody the beauty and weight of the season. The previous timeline imparted lessons. So, it was not squandered. Your suffering did not make you ineligible. It refined you. When you were alone, your prayers seemed to be reflected off the ceiling. God heard every word. The doors that remain unopened. Misfortunes. Friendships are disappearing. You were unaware of the upcoming betrayals. They were all part of the soil in which your roots grew deep. Like the words of Psalms 126, verse 5. Those who sow in tears will reap in songs of joy. You have sown a significant amount, and now God is preparing the harvest. However, a decision must be made prior to crossing the border. A release. Some things are not permissible to bring into the life that God is revealing. Certain patterns. Several recollections. Certain self-perceptions must be overcome. Not for a lack of significance. Nonetheless, they are currently insufficient for the future. God is altering more than just your surroundings. He's altering your identity. You are no longer the same person. Furthermore, you will not return to the version of yourself that was shaped by survival. This moment is reminiscent of Abram's story. Who was informed in Genesis chapter 12? Depart from your country, people who belong to you, and your father, the household of Es. I'll introduce you to the land. There's no map. There are no specifics. This is merely a pledge and invitation to adopt trust. Abram did not simply relocate. He assumed the name Abram, the father of nations. Furthermore, the transformation was not accomplished through ease. It was achieved through obedience in the face of uncertainty. The same thing is being said about you, not only physically. However, spiritually summoned from within the confines of scarcity-based thinking, because of self-doubt, from narratives that inform. You're either too late or insufficient. You are not severely damaged. You are not overlooked. You are not impeded. You are entering the reality for which God has prepared. Constitutes the act of letting go of yesterday's burden. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 to 12. Encourages us to get rid of anything that is holding us back, and the sin which so easily entangles. As a result, we can proceed with the determination. We have a race designated for us. Free running is not possible. If you're dragging chains from the cause chapter, that's already been resolved. Regret. The animosity. You've hidden your sorrow as if it were ancient letters. They were never meant to accompany you. God is not requesting that you forget. However, he wants you to hand over the item. What appeared to be a loss was often a manifestation of divine protection. Preservation was the real cause of what appeared to be a delay. And what appeared to be silence was in fact a sacred strategy. I once knew a woman who had prayed for years to be acknowledged and appreciated. The ability to recognize the depths of one's heart. She left each relationship feeling more depleted than the previous one. She was on the verge of surrender. However, during the period of anticipation, she began to see herself through the lens of God, not the opinions of others. She stopped asking to be chosen and started walking as if they were already loved. And soon after, without exertion, she was assigned a position of influence. She received an impact that far surpassed her expectations. That is what happens when one stops exerting pressure in order to advance and begin to flow according to the divine plan. You are not entering an ordinary future. You are being transported to a setting that was specifically designed for the real world. You're not. The edited and filtered version that you presented is expected to last. God, on the other hand, has been paying close attention to you, even in your darkest hour. This is not an indicator of ambition. Alignment is the term. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10 states, "We are God's creation, constructed in the image of Christ, to perform charitable acts, which God predetermined for us to accomplish." Your fate is not determined. It's been prepared. However, you should be prepared to relocate. When the cloud is moving, the Israelites pursued the cloud during the day. In addition, fire illuminated the wilderness at night. They weren't always aware of their destination. They were, however, aware of the appropriate departure time. Additionally, the cloud dissipated. They relocated. This is an extraordinary moment. It is perceived by your spirit, despite the fact that your mind is unable to explain it. There's a sense of unease. I'm deeply moved. A subdued sense of urgency is conveyed. Prepare yourself. Additionally, the following is true. The upcoming acceleration. The sensation will be abrupt. However, it will be responsible. It is a manifestation of heaven's appreciation for your years of hidden devotion. In the coming days, God will accomplish something, what you were unable to complete for years. It isn't because you deserve it. However, due to your alignment, you have made a concession. You've matured. He can now place more trust in you. You are not going into the upcoming season on an empty stomach, walking in wearing a crown on your head. It isn't because you're superior to others. However, those who persevere in the face of adversity are used by God. Those who worship when it hurts. Individuals who refuse to release Him. In situations where it is more convenient to withdraw. Therefore, refrain from opposing the transition. Allow it to carry you. Allow it to refresh you. Let yourself be surprised. You are entering a timeline. It is not based on logic. It is based on the principle of optimism, on the basis of mercy. Regarding destiny. No, your presence here is not accidental. You were never. Furthermore, what lies ahead is more than just a breakthrough. It is the progression of your development. Prior to the full arrival of the shift. Prior to opening the doors. The new season envelopes you in its rhythm. A subtle truth must permeate your being. Divine movement does not begin in the clouds. Your character is the starting point. The timing of heaven is frequently perceived as abrupt. However, its compatibility with your life has been in the works for a long time. And what you decide to do now, right here. This is the factor that determines how you approach the future. not in the future. Currently, God does not elevate people at random. People are unmoved by his emotions. He inspires those whose hearts are ready to walk. Proceed when he whispers. He relocates souls who have developed the ability to listen and respond, and adapt even when their surroundings remain unchanged. The sensation of being stirred. The tension. Discomfort inside. The subtle sensation that what was previously satisfactory now appears inadequate. It is not just restlessness. This is a revelation. The story of young Samuel is told in 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 10, whose name was constantly repeated throughout the night. Initially, the voice was unfamiliar to him. Nonetheless, he eventually replied, "Our Lord, speak to your servant who is attentive." His prophetic future was unlocked by his simple, willing posture. Often God begins his work with whispers. A holy agitation has arisen in places where you once felt at ease. Don't disregard it. Pay attention to the small details that elicit a reaction from your soul. The transition begins at that point. If specific conversations make you feel depleted or diminished, this is not a mere coincidence. When you enter specific environments, your tranquility fades quietly. That is not indicative of weakness. That's the sound of wisdom. Begin commemorating those occasions. Not at high volumes. Not in a defensive manner. Gently navigate small boundaries. That respects your internal well-being. You're not being challenging. You are sticking to your commitment. Start the process of preparing your area, similar to someone who anticipates the arrival of a notable guest. Because in many ways, you are the guest. You're making room for the next iteration of yourself. Wander around your workspace and bedroom. Even the files on your laptop and smartphone. If an object represents fear, disorder, or unresolved emotions. Alternatively, consider a dated version of your narrative. Begin the process of releasing it. God does not require perfection. He is eager to interact. Whisper prayers to help ground the act in faith as you clean and clear. God, remove what is no longer required. Make space within me for the upcoming events. Observe how peace is establishing itself in the place where chaos once thrived. Your words, no matter how casually spoken, are significant. There is a specific moment when you should share your story. However, there is also a moment when it is necessary to cease rehearsing your pain as if it were still your possession. Refrain from exposing your most profound wounds to individuals who were never intended to bear them. Silence that is founded on fear is not being requested by God. He extends an invitation to you to engage in strategic stillness. You are not summoned to provide an explanation for this transition. You are summoned to navigate it with dignity. In this season, your relationship with God does not need to be overly dramatic or intense. He is not soliciting elaborate performances. He is requesting His presence. Each day, dedicate 10 minutes to honesty. Absence of solicitation. Absence of performance. The mere act of being open can have a more profound impact on your soul than hours of effort. God did not greet Elijah with thunder when he fled into the wilderness, exhausted and frightened. He greeted him with a soft whisper. Your ears are honed by the stillness of 1 Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. It soothes your heart. It prepares you to recognize divine timing as a movement, rather than merely a moment. Additionally, be prepared to engage in real-time release exercises as you approach. If bitterness builds up like a tide, it is important to not confront it alone. Hand it over. Refrain from accommodating disappointment when it returns. Provide it. You forgive not to justify the past, but to maintain the necessary lightness to progress. You surrender not to demonstrate weakness, but to remain adaptable in the hands of a God who is composing your next chapter in real time. Next, evaluate your behaviors from a fresh perspective. Not solely whether they are positive or negative, but whether they are consistent with your personal development. Are they fostering your future season, or are they securing you in basic survival mode? Your digital habits, your sleep, your rhythms, your food, and even your conversations. None of these are insignificant. Manage them as acts of faith. In this context, discipline is not about restriction. It pertains to readiness. You are not being directed by God toward additional disorder. He is guiding you toward a divine order. Respond when the urge arises to apply for a position that is outside of your comfort zone, to relinquish something that was once considered essential, or to enter a situation without complete clarity. Do not delay until the ideal time. Refrain from requesting a guarantee. The momentum for the monumental is generated by obedience in the small. It is unnecessary for you to observe the entire blueprint. You must simply have faith in the builder. Please bear in mind that this is the method by which you prepare not through effort, but through consistent, steadfast action. Each moment of silence, indeed, serves as a brick in the journey toward the story that God has already composed. Though, the tension of waiting diminishes as you continue to live in this manner. The panic will gradually subside. A state of tranquility is established. Bustle. Deep trust replaces urgency. Clarity increases. Additionally, you will no longer experience the necessity to expedite the process, as you will comprehend that preparation